welcome to episode 69 of Live with the Glitter Practitioner. That is me, Dr. Noopy. I actually frightened myself just a second ago. The intro music wasn't starting and I was just zoning, and it came on and I literally jumped out of my chair. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Do let me know in comments where you are all joining in from, because I absolutely love to go back and chit chat and say hi and to say thank you for joining me. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am a GP, a family physician in the UK. I'm also a speaker and a transformation life coach. And my passion is sharing and showing others their unique essence, their uniqueness that is their superpower, and getting the glitter flowing. That's what I do. That's why I'm called the Glitter Practitioner. And I do this by sharing my F-list framework, which is a framework I developed after recovering from burnout about 13 years ago. And I have used this in clinical practice with my patients for the last 12-ish years. And what this does is show and empower others how to recognize their whole self-health needs, how to keep these needs in balance, how to restore them, and how to radiate your essence. And yeah, I could talk about this for hours and hours, and it always gets me very excited. I think the best way to show you what it feels like to work through the F-list when you go through those storms and find your true self. My brand story really does bring this to life. It's beautiful. I am biased, of course, and it was created by the insanely talented Devon James Stinson. I've just seen Bob pop up. Hi, Bob. So without further ado, wonderful producer and big bro, may we have the brand story, please? I can say it. Follow the light through the storm. This is not a light that warns, but guides. Oh, I can't remember the rest of it. I can't do it. I need to hear the music. Oh, is it not working, bro? Yes, David, I would do the interpretive dance if I could actually have the video. I've done some of it. Stall. Okay. Don't think I was supposed to say that out loud, actually. Okay, well, that's all right. I think Russ is just putting the brand story up. This is a first, but yes. So the F list really does show you how to bring your needs in balance. And here's the brand story, which
Follow
will
the
walk you
light
through
the
it.
storm. And this is not a light that warns, it's a light that forms on the pathway ahead. So you can maneuver around disaster instead of getting stopped by the obstacles. It just takes changing the obstacles. And then the impossible turns to possible. And then the storm lifts. You're no longer adrift. Breathe, focus, you've got this. Ahead you see a figure, a kind soul, and on the inside it feels like you might glow. Your endless cycles of cyclones have been turned to a breeze that just slightly blows. You're adorned with glitter, where you literally feel like a kid again. And this is when you realize how much of your life you've missed. And then you talk more with Dr. Noopy Aurora, who will holistically change your aura, where you and the new you won't be like strangers. No, you'll be like friends. Because this whole process is simply life-changing. So if you're feeling frazzled and you want to find your fizz and dazzle, then book a call with Dr. Nupi Aurora by messaging her right here on LinkedIn.
Yes, apologies for that little hiccup. I should really know. I do know this off by. I do know it off by heart, but Devon's going to kill me. I do know it off by heart. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to bring on this incredible young man who is all about showing other people also their uniqueness, their full potential, and he's totally inspiring. Wait till you hear his story. Without further ado, oh, come on down, William. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good
Hi.
evening
How are you?
to you. I'm
Good
fine.
evening. Good evening. Thank you so much
I'm
for
doing great, and
joining
you?
me today. I'm doing good. I was just saying thank you so much for joining me today. I know you've had a bit of a crappy day with
It's my pleasure.
losing laptop, etc., but the angels will guide it back. I just know it. But thank you for giving me your time today. I know you're a very busy person, and you're here for a few days more. Is that right?
I think I'll be here until 31st of October. I have a month
Oh,
left here.
okay. You've got another month. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've not said too much about who you are, what you do, so I'm going to leave that to you. Tell
Okay.
everybody.
All right. So my name is William Plange from Ghana, West Africa, and I use my story to empower people because I believe that being through uncomfortable situations is the best thing to be like. But when it's the same situation that when people go into, they feel depressed, they feel down, and all of that. So I'm here to share my story to the world. That is what I'm actually trying to do, to make sure that every human being find their purpose, because everybody
Yeah.
has it, and then
Yeah.
no human is useless, as I always say. Everybody has a purpose,
Yeah.
and then they need to find it.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
what you say. I wrote this down actually. I was meant to say this at the beginning, but for those who you didn't catch it, no, this is William's quote: no human is useless. Every human has a special hidden talent, and it just needs to come out for the world to see. I
Yeah.
love that. That's the
Yeah.
fizz essence. It's the glitter. That's what I equate it to. And when we were chatting the other evening, we literally just met actually. And I just wanted to say thank you, Bob, for the introduction. You were so right, Bob. Yes, totally, totally love him, love William, and your story. It's the resilience, and it's what you've learned. You just epitomise that. So, floor is yours. Off you go. I'll stop interrupting you.
Okay. So I'll start it off. In Ghana, that's where I come from. Now, getting a good job a bit difficult. Sometimes you need to get some links with people in the government before you can get a good permanent job. Otherwise, you could get these mere jobs that would you end up using your salary as transportation back to work again. So you end up with zero savings, nothing. So after school, I was stranded, no job. But my friends, my classmates were having a job. And then in return, they were making mockery of me because they had the job and I don't have the job. So the depression set in. I was very stranded, and I wanted to move away from all these because they are riding their cars. When they see me, they just stop, honk, pass on some comments that would make me feel extra bad. So I decided to leave the city, and I ended up living in the forest. So I moved into the forest with a small family, and then in the forest there was no electricity, there was no good drinking water. We drank from a stream, and it looks green in color. It's from the ground. Animals drink from in, and all of us, everybody drank from the stream. It was quite uncomfortable, but then today I stand here and say it was the best decision I ever took. Now in the forest, what we do is every morning we have to walk like 5 hours to the farm to get food stuff, and then we carry it on our head. Now I'm from the city, and then I'm not used to all these kind of stuff, so it was quite very difficult for me carrying heavy loads of cassava. I end up with my neck getting neck pains and all of that. Now the daily routine was that we just walk 5 hours to the farm, and while I was in the farm, anytime I extended a helping hand to somebody and they say, "Thank you, William. God bless you, William, for all that you do." I had a very good feeling inside of me when people say, "God bless you, William, and thank you." So I kept on doing the service, seven people. Now, one day I was sitting idle under a tree, and then I had, well, I don't know where it came from, but I heard somebody telling me that use this gesture to start a business. So that is where I had my first business idea to be an errand boy. Now, when I came back from the forest after 6 months, and I came back to the city, I started an errand boy. The errand boy was just helping people, helping busy, scheduled people like the lawyers, the doctors, the judges, those prominent people who are busy, who couldn't do their rounds. So I set in and I helped them do their rounds for them. And it wasn't about the money, it was the thank you. They gave me tips, but I wasn't charging them. It was the love that I have for what I was doing, serving people. So I had a lot of contacts, like with prominent people in the country, because now if I need something, I know who to call because of the services I rendered to them. So that was ongoing. Then later, in Ghana, we have a marketplace where used clothes from Europe are dumped there. Now they are used clothes, but we can buy and resell. Now, before you get the best of clothes, you need to go there as early as 3 a.m. in the morning. So I journey there 3 a.m., do some selections, come back home, wash them, and then post those pictures, those clothes pictures on my WhatsApp. Now, these same people I was rendering services to were the one contacting me and then buying from me. Perhaps they didn't even need it, but because of the services I rendered to them, they bought from me, and that was also ongoing. Now, this was one of my harsh moments in life, and it's in my book that I've published, that you always need to thank your enemies because they always pave the way for you. Now, this is a story where I was living in the family house with my grandmother and my mom. Now, one day my grandmother woke up and said, um, "I am broke. I need to rent my house and then make money. So you have to leave this house." And I thought it was a joke. I went out, I came back, and all my stuff were packed and then thrown outside. My
Oh
grandmother
my.
insisted I leave. We had to beg. My mom came in. Yes, my mom came in crying and all of that, but still, she said no. She wants to rent the house. So my mom had to go for a loan and pay her for me to live in the house again. So in return, I rented in my own family house. Now it was for a year. So in the year when I was in the room, my grandmother didn't give me privacy. She could just enter my room, put off the fan, and tell me that she's feeling cold, so she needs to put it off. She could just enter my room and then just shut the door down because she wants to shut down. It was all not rosy for me. It was through pains like 1 year. So after a year, she demanded for another payment, but I said no, I can't do this anymore. So I had to move. So I moved out from the house, and I had a small room, like a small wooden structure, that the room could only afford a student mattress, a table and a chair, and just a few of my belongings. And I need to squeeze like this and then come out from the room. I rented that place for 2 years because I wanted privacy. Now, when I got there, I said to myself that I need to move out of this place to a bigger apartment after the 2 years. It challenged me. For once, people said my grandmother was so harsh, was very bad, and all of that. But I feel she putting me into that situation really helped me, because from there, I've been able to occupy a bigger space. I've been able to marry, and now I have a daughter. I couldn't have done all these things if she hadn't pushed me to that. So I
Yeah.
always I say that when you go through uncomfortable situations, it's the best. It means the universe or God wants to do something for you. But when he tells you
Yes.
directly, you might be reluctant unless something forces you and then push you out of that situation.
Yeah.
So while I was in this small room, it was very hot. At that time, I've connected to people in the States because of my LinkedIn. I always share my story on LinkedIn. So
Mm.
people saw it and then they introduced me to groups in the United States. Now I go on meetings, and thanks to COVID was bad, but in a way it was good too because it brought up this Zoom stuff. There was no way I was going to travel to the States to meet somebody. So Zoom made it possible, and then COVID also made it possible. So COVID has its own bad side too as well, but it's also good. Now I was meeting people, telling them my story, and they loved it. So they and I do this invisible mark. I'm so sorry I can't show it now because of
Don't worry.
what I had today. So
I
these
know.
invisible marks are black marks. I can put anything on it. I can put your face on it, and when I pour hot water, it reveals the face gradually.
Yeah.
Now these marks that I'm doing, I put my story into it. That when you've not found your purpose, when you are depressed, you look black until something triggers you, which is the hot water, and it is hot water could even burn you. So that is
Yes.
an uncomfortable situation. When you go through that, it is meant for a purpose to reveal the beautiful
Yes.
things that you have inside.
Yes.
So I keep on saying that no human being is useless. We all have something special inside of us.
Yeah.
At the point when I was in the forest, at the point when I was depressed, I didn't know I had all these special gifts inside of me until I was forced, like what my grandmother did, what my friends did, where it got me to. That is where I had my first business idea. My grandmother sacking me from home, me being in that
Yeah.
uncomfortable room, also challenged me to do well. And through now, I have been on the Times Square billboard in the States.
I know.
Just yesterday, I won the Caribbean Global Awards for using my invisible mark to help people out of depression. I
I love
I
that.
I never thought I could even get on a flight, and this is my first time I'm in the UK because of the awards and all these
Well,
things.
it's because of your work. The award is the recognition.
Exactly.
It's what you share, it's what you do with not just
Mm-hmm.
with the mug, with 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 the whole thing. And I love the imagery because you showed it to me the other
Yeah,
day. But
yeah,
it's also you are sharing what your story essentially, which is overcoming adversity. And
exactly.
we were talking about this, that it just takes that little bit of it's magic, it's hope, it's courage,
Mm-hmm.
it's belief that.
Yeah.
And that's really hard if you've struggled, and if you have your circumstances, but something within you,
Mm-hmm.
connection, whatever we want to call it, with source, with the divine, with the universe, you kept putting one foot in front of the other.
Exactly.
And that is inspiring to hear. And it's inspiring for other people to hear that by sharing this story,
Mm-hmm.
other people who may be further down the road in their journey can
Mm-hmm.
actually say, okay, there is another way. There is hope.
Exactly.
There is this.
Exactly.
And I'm just acknowledging you for that because you've done a lot of work in Ghana with schools in particular, haven't you? And
Yeah.
it was really that was recognized in terms of your
Exactly.
award. Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
and and the reason why, before I move on, let me show this to your viewers. This, I don't know
Yeah,
if they can see it well. This is me when I
yeah,
was
we
in
can
the
see that.
forest. You can see that.
Yes.
That was me. I was
Yeah,
nowhere close what I look right now.
I
This
know.
At this time it was very tough for me, but I think it was the best decision. And now
Yes.
I even want more uncomfortable situations because when I leave it, yes, because when I come out from it, it's going to be a greater news for me. But when you are
Yes.
comfort, you are still stuck
Yeah.
at one place.
It's in your yes, absolutely. You've got to keep well, we're not stagnant. We are meant as human beings to A, connect, B, it's a continuous cycle. You're constantly evolving. You're learning from the learning. Well, actually, you got to fail, and fail is brilliant. You have to
Exactly.
fail because if
Exactly.
you never fail, you're never going to learn things. And it's giving yourself that grace, that time, and the compassion that it's okay. This is how you are going to learn.
Yeah.
And then from that learning is the growth. And from the
Exactly.
growth, you've leveled up. From leveling up,
Exactly.
you're constantly shifting and changing. So things perhaps that have served you for so long doesn't serve you any longer. And that's what I share. It's also tuning into the way the body talks to us, tuning into that mind, body, soul connection, because 9 times out of 10, your heart, your soul has been sort of, what's the word, poking you to say,
Yeah.
you're not taking any notice. Come on, come on, come on. And it gets louder and
Yeah.
louder and louder.
Yeah.
And that's physically what tends to bring people into their doctors. And it's almost, okay, so let's go to the root cause of this problem. And actually, there's always an emotional element. It can't not be. Your mind, body, soul's connected. One's off kilter,
Exactly.
the other follows.
Exactly.
And that is the key. And it's giving yourself that time
Yeah.
to find yourself. What are your passions? What are your values? If you've forgotten what those are, this is the time to take a step back and go, well, how am I really? And listen from here, not from the monkey brain, not from the critter chatter. Fuck that. No. Sorry, excuse me for swearing. I'm just going to, I think I
Yeah.
was swearing with you the other night, so you're used to it. But that is the whole point. And it's allowing yourself that time,
Yeah.
that space, and, your experience of going through what you went through has just brought so many
Yeah.
blessings. And I totally get that. I
Exactly.
also say from my burnout, which
Exactly.
it was hideous. It was the worst time, rock bottom. It was over. It was horrible, and I can you
Yeah.
can remember it enough, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't change it for anything because it is what woke me up to this understanding and to this deeper understanding and awareness of myself, of the world around me, my connection, my spiritual awakening even. And that's what I've continually, constantly sharing, learning, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And other people do benefit, and that's your mission and my mission are very, very similar.
Very
So when we were
similar. Very
connecting,
similar.
it was
Yeah.
just it was just I feel like I've known you for ages. And sorry, Bob. Yes, Russ is listening. I know, I know. I've only
And
sworn
and
once,
and
for heaven's sake.
and
Anyway,
one thing I want to share.
yes.
Yesterday in London, yesterday, I have a friend in London who was taking me around the first day. So the second day, I called him. I needed to go somewhere. I called him and he never picked up. He wasn't picking up. He was asleep. He was tired. Now, the previous day, he was telling me that, William, you need to learn how to use these maps so you can navigate and go wherever you want to go. And I'm like, no, I have you. I have you. There's no need. And the next day,
I'm useless with maps.
I needed to go somewhere, and I'm calling him, and then time was running out, and then he wasn't picking up. So I had to force and learn how to use the map that day
Yeah,
alone. And I went
yeah,
to wherever I went to. Now, when he was not picking up, it was uncomfortable. I
yeah,
was so stranded.
yeah.
But because of that, I was able to challenge myself to find my way how to do it myself without him. So
Yes,
that is how blessings come. It comes in the form of
yes,
uncomfortability, and then you need to,
yes,
it is quite depressing. It's quite depressing, but it is meant for you to learn something and come out and be the best. But
yeah.
people, you
But
don't
it
need to
doesn't
calm down
always.
when things are wrong.
Yes, yes. But it's also, it doesn't always have to be, blessings do come, just painting a different perspective.
No,
It's one of my F's. I'm
fine.
flipping it. But it
True.
doesn't always have to be struggle, struggle, struggle. It
Oh
can
yes, of
also
course.
be you can still feel you can still have a seemingly you don't have to have gone
Mm-hmm,
through maybe what you've been through or burnout, for
mm-hmm,
example,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm.
recognize your mind, body, soul aren't in alignment. That's the
Yeah,
tuning in to
yeah,
self. How are
yeah.
you really feeling? And truly, and is there fulfillment? Are you following your passions, your purpose, the things
Mm,
that truly light you up and make you go
exactly.
fizz tingle? And some people aren't as maybe fizz tingly as others. It doesn't matter. Everybody's unique, and you've all got. Everybody has their superpowers. Mine
Exactly.
happens to be glitter. Um, so yeah, and it's just my
Yeah,
analogy for what you're saying. It's the light, isn't it? It's that inner your inner light never goes, and it
yeah.
is stoking it. And you can, I guess it's achieving, or it's being, it's the tagline I say, actually. It's being your bestest, boldest, brightest, most badass self.
Mm,
And it's
mm.
being, it's aligning with that, and that's not putting pressure on people. I've got to be the best, I've got to be the best, because then it all starts becoming very overwhelming. It's
True.
taking each step at a time and staying in that present moment. And blessings come all the time. It's a blessing you and
Yeah.
I met. I'm so grateful to Bob. I just love the way when synchronicity flows, and it's just, that's the
You
magic.
see?
That's magical. Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
beautiful. So you can kind of capture all of
yeah,
this. So yeah.
yeah.
So it doesn't always have to be hard
True.
stuff,
Yes,
but
yes.
very
I was,
often
I was trying,
it's the
I was
crap
trying to
that
say
really
it.
makes you go,
Yeah, I get it. But I was trying to say it for those who are always depressed because
yeah,
things are not going on well. But it doesn't.
yeah,
Some people, it has its own forms.
yeah,
Sometimes it could be what brings you joy inside of you, like how I started my first
yes,
business idea. When I hear the thank
yes,
you, I'm okay. Okay, so let me do more and get the thank yous.
yes. It's tuning in, I guess, the heavier based
That is
energies.
it.
So,
Mhm.
depression is a word for sadness, it's a word for low mood. Now, true depression is hideous. You just feel like you're walking through
Yeah.
treacle the whole time. The whole world is grey. And I say to my
Yeah.
patients, no, you deserve to see the world in multicolours, HD, bing, bing, bing. That's your divine right to feel that
Yeah.
joy. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's allowing yourself to
Hmm?
to go back to basics, I guess. But all these denser energies, emotions, fear, anger, all of these things that really bring your whole light down, it can be replaced. It's tuning into serving others, what you were saying, because that makes you feel good. It's kindness, it's compassion, it's
Yeah.
love. It boils down to the most, I know this sounds really cheesy, but love. It's love at the end of the day. I feel like a Disney I feel like a Disney person going,
That is
it's
it.
love, it's
That is
love.
it.
But it is love, and it's unconditional love. It's self care. That's the first step, which is self love, which is equivalent
Yeah.
to unconditional
Yeah.
love. And that's the glitter, that's
Yeah.
the magic.
Mm.
And, it's not just the Disney,
Yeah.
pretend let's all live in rainbow unicorn land, even though that is wonderful. It really
Mm.
does boil down to those key principles, I feel, always. And it's hope, it's courage, it's,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you start shifting
Yeah.
those
You're right.
energy levels, and then you're like, I'm feeling
Exactly.
very.
Exactly. That is true.
Those are the glitter bombs that get
That is
rid of
true.
it.
Mm, mm,
Exactly.
mm, mm.
Oh, so what's the
Yeah.
plan? So you have a book. I know you were sharing the book with me before. I'm sure we've got all of the details, which will be on these
Yeah.
links down here.
Yeah.
You've got your award. So what is next for you, William?
So what is next? Before I moved into the UK, I was touring schools because I believe I love kids. I love children. Okay, so and I believe they grow up to be like us. So
Yeah,
whilst I was growing, the things that I saw, things that I made errors with, I go to the schools and then empower them that, hey, anything you want to become, it is possible. If you've seen any human being achieve something, you can also get it if you want it, because no human being is superhuman. We are all humans.
Yeah,
So if somebody
exactly.
has been able to get it, you can also get it. So this is what I try
Yes.
to put in the mindset of these kids, so they can grow up. Where we grow up in Ghana, we don't get the chance to be told these things. The first thing they put it in us is fear.
Yeah.
So we end up
Fuck that.
not taking the challenge, and then we end
Yes.
up being poor. We end up not
Yes.
making our dreams come true. So I'm trying to put this thing in the mindset
Oh,
of these kids, and that's what I'm doing. So I tour around schools, talk to them, show them the invisible mark, tell them my story, my journey,
yes.
show them my horrible pictures from back then and now, show them my achievements, and tell them that, hey, look,
Those pictures are
I am not better
beautiful.
than you. I was once like you. I was once like your
Yeah.
age. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Those
they are
pictures
so
are
happy
beautiful, by
when
the
I talk
way.
to them. So all
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So when I go back home, I'm going to continue that, and then reach as many schools that I can. And also
Beautiful.
I give them books. I donate books to them. Some students have very bad uniforms. I try to get them stuff like that. So I sell my book, my t-shirt, no human is useless t-shirt,
Oh my
and the
God, look at
proceeds.
this
Yeah,
merch. You've
yeah,
actually got
yeah.
all the merchandise.
Yes, and
That's
I use
fantastic.
I use the proceeds to support these kids, and then
Amazing.
just it's all about positivity, because I didn't get
Yeah.
that. No,
Yeah.
I found myself in a church last time. I was telling you, the
Yes.
preacher man telling me that we came to this world with nothing, we are going to go with
Mm.
nothing. So I should just be stuck in the house, in the church, praying for people. For 8 years, I shattered my dream. I was always praying for people, and nothing was working. Meanwhile, he says school is not important, working is not important, but his son was busily studying and working
Mm.
and making lots of money. And then we were stuck in the church with this mindset for 8 years. So
You're
I had
breaking
to.
free. I
Exactly.
know.
So
It's
and it
breaking
was
free
like
from that
it was like
conditioned
I was in
response.
chains. I was in
Yes.
chains mentally. So I
Mm.
broke from this mental and slavery, and then everything is just changing for me within 2 years. So I'm just trying to let these kids know that it is
Yes. There is
possible.
another
And
way.
then
Yes.
exactly, and God lives in the heart. You can
Exactly.
you
I
can talk
love
to
it.
God directly. Yes, you don't need
Absolutely.
anybody to introduce God to you.
No.
So it's all about the
And
kids and all of that.
amazing. If you need any magic glitter, I am more than happy to. I don't know. I can't. Who knows? I might be flying to Ghana. You never know.
You
But
have to.
I would happily share my F list with you, and we need to talk. I can
Sure.
feel some collaborations, but I am so impressed with your merchandise. It's fantastic. It's
Thank you.
great.
Yeah,
I've
it's
got some
all
ideas
over.
with mine.
It's all
Pardon?
over. It's on bonfire. When you type "no human is useless," it's going to come out,
Yeah.
and then yeah,
Wow. I'm
yeah,
seriously
yeah,
impressed.
yeah.
Well done. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so, so much for joining me. It's been gorgeous to have you on as a guest. And it was funny how it all happened as well. It was one of those, it was meant to happen. I had a
Exactly.
spare slot, and it was literally Bob introduced, and I was like, I love everything that what you're about. And by the way, I know you don't know me yet, but would you like to come on my show in like 2 days' time? And that's how we met.
Yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
Thank you. And I really, really, I'm sure you'll get your laptop back, sending positive juju vibes out there.
yeah. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to wrap up very quickly, and I'll come and join you in the green room. Okay?
Sure, sure,
Thank you.
sure.
Wow. That was such a sparkling episode, I feel. That's how it felt to me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us today. William really does. He's so inspiring, and it's just Oh, you can feel the energy exchange going off, and that's what was making me all fizz pop giddy pants. So just as a reminder, you can find me here every Monday at 8 p.m. GMT, which is 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. And you can also get hold of me on LinkedIn. Just direct message me. I think my Calendly link's a bit blocked here and there. I've not updated it. Direct message me on LinkedIn if you would like to know more about the F list, or even have a conversation with me, have a chat. I free chats, basically, half hour, 40 minutes, whatever, and see what magic you can get hold of. Just get hold of Russ Hedge, because he always gets hold of me. Anyway, have an amazing week. Enjoy. It's all autumny over here. Thanks for joining me, and I shall see you again next week. Bye.